Hello, in this video I would like to demonstrate this React Native application that I built as part of my coursework for BSc Computer Science degree. Mm, First, I would like to demonstrate how the app works in an iOS simulator. So the basic feature of this application is that it allows the users to manage their wallet, so they can add transactions, and the current balance on the wallet is then updated in real time. And for the backend I have used Firebase, and when the user first launches the app, we see these login and sign up screens. And let us try to sign up. So let us say at sample.com, and then first thing that I would like to point out is that if I uh, don't fill out the form input, it would not let me submit the form, and this has been done using Formic with a wrapper around the React Native text input component. So let me so if I correctly fill the password, then I would be allowed to go ahead. On first login, so because this is a fresh user, uh, I see zero transactions in wallet with the current balance that is zero. I can then go ahead and add transactions such as, for example, ATM bill, and let us say 1000. And here I can select the type of the transaction. So if the type is income, uh, yeah, this does not make sense. ATM withdrawal is not an income, but it basically means that the amount has been debited to the wallet. And now I see the current balance is 1000. If I spend something, for example, lunch, okay, this is expense. Now the current balance is 950. And now let us say the user spends something on, and this is also an expense. Now the balance is 850, and let us say I add a test entry and it is 500. Okay, so let us say this is income. Okay, so I can now update this and like select, for example, change this to an expense, and for example change the amount, and now I see negative balance and it is highlighted in red, and then I can delete. So if I go ahead, this entry was now deleted, and so I don't have any ability to add a transaction in the past or in the future. By default it would take the current time, current date and time. And okay, so for here, for the wallet, I don't have much any complex features, other than that if I create add a transaction, I have some validation going on. For example, if I try to fill something not a number or a negative number, so it would not let me do that. And now let us go to the second screen. This is the user's account details. So initially I did not have features such as delete account and data. This was added later. So I would actually do this in the end because I would like to first demonstrate the rest of. So user detail. This is just some basic information about the current user logged in. And so these UI, so the first thing I would like to point out is that this navigation, for this I have used React Navigation native library, and it provides me some basic UI components such as this tabbed bottom navigation and then stack navigator. For example, if I click add transaction, I can go back to wallet. This is a stack navigator component. And in the user, I have also done it for user detail. Now I can log out, and I have also handled the errors uh, correctly. For example, if I try to log in with a wrong password, and now if I submit, I get this Firebase error in the backend that I log, but the actual user will not actually see the Firebase error alert, but will see this React Native alert. So they are able to now retry or reset their password. So if I click reset, I am able to reset the password, and yeah, it is required. So you have to provide your email, and then it will basically send you an email with a link that you can use to reset your password. This is actually a Firebase authentication feature. I would not want to do that right now. So okay, another thing I would like to point out is that when the app launches for the first time, the theme and the language are taken from the system. But if the user actually goes ahead and make a choice uh, in here, like in settings, I have an ability to change the theme of the application. So for example, if I now go back to here, everything is correctly uh, styled with the back with a black background in. So for example, the text is now white, and the other one is the language. So if I change language, uh, all of the UI is now in. Of course, these entries are cannot be translated, but yeah, the rest of it, and for example, even the validations are correctly translated. And so I have made sure to even translate, for example, error alerts. So if I try to, let us try to create an error, let us log out, and yeah, this one. So yeah, these are also translated correctly. Let us switch back to English. And for the theming, one thing I would like to demonstrate is that if I go here and then change it to dark mode, and go here, yeah, if I select system, now it is dark. Let us go back to settings and disabled dark appearance. And now if I, as soon as I switch to the app, it will detect that the system is now light themed. Okay. Okay, now this one is a feature that my users requested on feedback, that they want to delete their account and all of the data. I have not actually tested it a lot, but let me try. So it says, are you sure you want to delete your account and all the data? Okay, yeah, so it worked. And I would like to go through the code for this a bit later, but let us see, try to log the same user again. Submit. Yeah, login failed. So it means that the account was actually deleted. Before actually going to the code, let me actually show the web UI. So I will close this. Now, yeah, this is stretched for some reason. Let us open web view. So yeah, so this is how the app looks in web. Basically mostly the same. Yeah, the button looks a bit different. I expect that the button will also look different on Android compared to iOS emulator. but rest of it is uh, yeah, it works as expected. I'm very impressed with how well the React Native web works. Okay, yeah, this is all for the demonstration. Let me go through the code now. So I will start from the navigation first. So yeah, this is the main view that is basically rendered directly in the app.js, and in here the first thing I render is tab navigation. And in tab navigation, what I do is if the user is not authenticated, then I show auth name is basically sign up, login, and reset password views. So then these are here. So auth, login, reset password. This is a stack inside stack navigator, which is called auth name. So auth name is a stack navigator, and mm, then inside tab navigation. So if the user is then authenticated, I then see three tabs: wallet tab, user tab, and tab screen. Yeah, let me just reopen the iOS simulator again so that we can also take a look at the app. So okay, I have to sign up, unfortunately. Okay, so these are the three tabs: wallet, user, and settings. And inside wallet, I have the first is the main wallet screen, and then the transaction, which is this one that allows me to edit the transaction or add a new transaction. And then the other one is user. So user stack has a user, main user, and then user detail. And then the third one, last one, is settings. And settings stack has just one screen, but I added it just because I liked the header at the top, this one. And so for state management, I just relied on a React context because the state in this app is pretty simple, so I did not want to use Redux. And the first one is authentication state. Even though I can listen to on auth state changed from Firebase, in order to re-render and update the app as soon as the user authentication state changes, I have to set this in the uState variable, and this is then shared throughout the app, and I use it in multiple places. And then the second one is theme context, and the theme context is how it works is that I have three options for the user, and depending on which one is chosen, I then decide like which whether to enable or disable dark theme. And so the first one is if the user's selected option is theme, then I check if the system theme is dark, and this is basically a React Native hook. And then if the user's selected option is not system, it could be either light or dark, then I do this comparison with the dark theme, and then set this dark mode boolean to true. And then in the set theme, every time the user sets the theme, I actually save the user's option, selected option, in the async storage, so that the next time app launches, so let us say, yeah, let me make sure that, okay, so dark mode is not appear selected in the system, and dark mode is selected here. And if I restart the app, like R, yeah, it correctly starts in a dark theme. And now if I again select light, and if I reload the app, now it loads in um, the correct theme, the white theme. And so the other one is I have used this use effect, uh, what it does is that when the first time the app launches, I grab the currently stored theme from the async storage and set it in the state. Okay, then I would like to discuss how the forms are done. Yeah, so this also works for the language. For the language, uh, I did not actually use a context because for localizations, I have relied on this React I18 Next library, and I can directly interact with it, so I don't need a state, mm, React context state. So first thing is that I detect the current system theme. So if I not system theme, actually systems language. So if I log out and restart the app, it would first clear async storage, and then when there is nothing in async storage, mm, this library actually helps the app correctly detect the system currently selected language. So yeah, so in this IIT Next, I have stored the translations in these namespaces for different pages, for navigation, for authentication views, setting views, and then yeah, these are common translations, and then user and wallet. And mm, so auth context and okay, so theme context, I would like to demonstrate how it works in settings. Here it is pretty simple. I have this component for theme settings section, which is shown displayed here. I have theme. I map over themes. So I have three options, and unfortunately, I have to do this complex ternary operator here because inside require I can't dynamically set the path. Uh, yeah, this is unfortunately how React Native bundling is done. So I just simply directly set the theme in the theme context, and then it will automatically export the dark mode boolean, and that can be shared throughout the app. So then the dark mode can then be used in different parts of the app. Yeah, let me find out where it is used. Let us go to wallet. So in wallet, I listen to this dark mode from theme context, and then I can, for example, set dark mode in the React Native table view simple. And yeah, from here I would like to focus on how the forms are done. This one and the login and sign up forms. So for that I have used Formic. Uh, yeah, it is one of the very popular form management libraries in React. Lately, React Hook form has been gaining a lot of momentum due to its performance uh, benefits. Yeah, but this worked for me for now. As I said earlier, for the backend I have used Firebase. So in here I use this use formic hook. I provided the initial values for the form. These are the default values, and then on submit, the submit handler, what it basically does is it checks if the transaction ID exists. Then it simply updates the document in Firestore. But if the ID does not exist, it creates a new document inside this collection. And then for validation, for example, this one, when I have a field not filled, or I set something invalid, yeah, a value that is not allowed, I used yup package. And so in yup package I can give it a schema, and then for translations I have used the t function from use translation hook provided by IIT Next. And yeah, this is how when a user navigates to an existing transaction, the data is grabbed from the backend. I could have directly passed it from the wallet page, but yeah, this basically grabs the latest value from the Firestore. And then this is how delete transaction works. And yeah, simply directly doing the update in Firestore and then confirm delete method. Okay, yeah, so the benefit of using Formic is that my forms are extremely simple. Yeah, the reason is because I have wrote some wrappers around, for example, text input, and inside this wrapper, I listen to use field hook from Formic, and then I pass in the component name, and then this hook will basically Formic will basically go up the tree and find out the nearest Formic context and attach the values there. And even though this component looks a bit messy, uh, I then render the error message here. So if the component is touched and there is an error for this component, then I show this text in red color. Yeah, this color actually comes from React Navigation theming feature. So when I yeah, in this case it does not matter, but for text or in other cases, yeah, I can directly use colors.text from React Navigation, and when I change a theme, it will automatically make the text white on black theme, and vice versa. And then I have written this uh, custom component button select. It basically works like a radio button group, and this also communicates with Formic. And then yeah, so this is how the form components are. Yeah, my forms can stay very simple. Yeah, I think that is about it. Thanks for listening.